Cowboys are, quote, all in on re-signing Dak Prescott. Eventually, they just haven't shown it yet, end quote. Brew, your reaction.
Well, like I've said, and I assume maybe if Jeremy got this from the Cowboys or a source within the organization, I don't think they know what all in means. Because it doesn't look like they're all in on Dak Prescott. Now, is it possible that they're willing, more than willing, to pay him $52, $53 million a year? All right, and Dak is like, nah, I want to be paid 60, or I want to be paid the highest paid player in the league, and that's the problem. That's possible. But if you know Dak is your guy, waiting only is going to cost you more money. All right, and if he really has a great year, which you hope if you're the Cowboys, it really could cost you a lot more money. Now, if you're not sure, if you're thinking, we might move on from him, then this is fine. But if you think he's the guy, or this goes for any player, if you know he's the guy, you should sign them sooner rather than later, because it's only going to cost you more. And Nick, in this case, had they signed him already, or if they signed him before the season, it would give you more money for CD, for Micah, and other players.
Well, so to me, it's less about the more money for CD and Micah, because I think they're going to get those deals done, and it's more about you could have been more active in improving your team. I do not believe the Cowboys here, because if they were going to do it, they'd have done it. Because the benefit of opening up cap space now is minimal. It's like, oh, now we can finally sign Stephon Gilmore. Like, and I only mention him because he's one of the.
Still out there.
He's still out there. There's not a lot of guys out there. Like, Dak's cap hit right now is incredibly onerous. And the only way you would carry that up to this point in the offseason, I think, is if you intend to carry it. Because I think the Cowboys are truly in a, let's see how this year goes.
Yeah,
because to me, it's less, Brew, about 53 versus 56 million or 56 versus 58, and more about length of contract and percent guaranteed. Because Dak, just like Kirk Cousins played the franchise tag game and won, in my opinion, Dak Prescott has played the franchise tag game and won. And that next deal is going to be close to fully guaranteed, or at least fully guaranteed for the first 3 years at record-breaking numbers. And if that's the standard he is going to demand, because that's what the leverage allows, then I think the Cowboys are not willing to do it. If they were, they would have already. And that's why, Wilds, you shouted it out in the hallway last week.
Real fast though, if the Cowboys are unwilling to do that, then that means that Dak does not have that leverage. So if he doesn't have that leverage, he can't command that. It's that simple.
You're like, hey, did you guys see this? And it was the Mike McCarthy quote on Trey Lance.
Oh, yeah.
That he's like mastered the playbook. I forget the exact quote. I apologize. I tune you out most of the time when we're not on the air. I do think Trey becomes a really fascinating preseason guy.
Oh, my God.
Because I think that the Cowboys are searching for options and any leverage they might have moving forward. And if Trey comes out in the preseason and is bad, then, you know what I mean, whatever little bit they'd have. But if a guy who hasn't played football seemingly since high school, you know what I mean, comes out and looks good, then it shifts the leverage a bit. Because I don't think the Cowboys are going to sign Dak before the year.
When are you going to let this attachment you have to Trey Lance?
I knew you were going to say that.
Because it's true.
No,
I said it first.
That's the thing. I picked the Niners to make the Super Bowl because I believed they could make the Super Bowl with literally anyone at quarterback. And then a year later, I was proven right. And somehow you think that means I love Trey Lance. Well, who knows? Maybe Trey would have been too.
No, it's more than that. Nick has been railing on Trey Lance, saying it's crazy. He was trying to call out Shanahan before, saying Trey Lance hasn't been given a chance, and like all this type of stuff, saying that Trey Lance is a big thing. And when he went to Dallas, he was like praising it. So no, it has nothing to do with just the 49ers roster and how any quarterback can apparently take them to the Super Bowl. That is not what it is all. He just can't let go of that take about Trey Lance. And if Trey Lance ends up being successful, he wants to be like, I told you all, I told you all. So that's what it's more about than anything. But here's the thing about Dak, and I'm not going to keep repeating myself about this whole idea of like, well, we want to see what Dak can do this season, because that's just, I just can't keep telling everyone how dumb of an idea that is, because it's just, he's not a rookie quarterback here this season. This isn't his first, second, or third season here. We know exactly who Dak is. But this idea that they're all in on Dak, why are the Dallas Cowboys so noisy? Seriously, why has their offseason just been so noisy? I mean, there's just constant noise and whispers about the draft, about who they're getting in the offseason. Is it going to be Ezekiel Elliott? What are they doing with Micah? What are they doing with CeeDee Lamb? Like, what are they doing with Dak? Like, it's all these questions. And you have these other teams. No one really knew where Saquon Barkley was going to go. And then he just quietly signed with the Eagles. It wasn't like the Eagles are really looking for a running back and they really want Saquon. You never heard that. It just happened. No one knew that they were in conversations to extend Devontae and A.J. Brown. It just happened. Same thing with Jalen Hurts last year, a couple years, whenever right after the Super Bowl, when his extension was signed. There wasn't any of these big, deep, long discussions. They just quietly took care of the business. And you see other teams doing that as well. The Houston Texans, right? There was no whispers of like, the Texans are really high on Diggs and they really want him. Like, it just happened. These things just happened. The Detroit Lions, they made a comment and said, hey, we really love Goff and we're happy with him. And then like a week later, boom, he was extended. Like, it's not all this back and forth. We're going all in. Well, we're going all in to win. No, we're going all in on our guys that we already have. Like, it's just this constant shell game and just noise and noise and noise and noise with the Cowboys. I mean, one minute we hear a report that says the Cowboys are not very happy with Dak and they want to see what he can do the next season, this coming season. And then we hear another report. Dallas is fully committed to signing Dak. Okay. Right? It's just like, what's going on? Justin Jefferson signs this massive contract. CeeDee Lamb is still just hanging out. It's just like, I don't understand. And what are they waiting for Micah at this point? Like, what are they doing? And if they are all in on Dak, like, what is the holdup? Like, why can't they get any of their deals done? Mike McCarthy, is he a lame duck coach? Yes or no? Right? Even Jerry Jones was like, yeah, we'll see what Mike can do. No, nothing's guaranteed in life. None of us have guarantees. And it's like, well, okay, that makes you feel good. So I don't get Dallas's approach with any of this, because it's just not how you run an organization or a team. This whole idea that you need to light a fire underneath them and they're all going to compete and buckle down. I just don't buy it. It just seems, if I look at this like as like a company or a family or anything of that sort, I'm just like, this is an uncomfortable place to be in with no clarity. And when you have no clarity, it's really hard to do your job. It's really that simple. And so can some of these players, because I think what it also can highlight is, like, a Dak Prescott can have a great year individually, potentially, because he wants that money, but it doesn't mean that you're going to win collectively. It doesn't mean that you're going to win a championship, which is, of course, the master goal for the Dallas Cowboys. But at this point, interacting with all the Dallas Cowboys fans, it seems like y'all would just be happy making it to the NFC Championship game, which I find mind-blowing. At this point in the whole Dak Prescott era, that you would be happy just reaching a NFC Championship game and like losing, and you guys would be like, all right, see, he's good, he can get there. That's why you got to re-sign Dak. I just find that shocking at this point. I mean, seriously, like I just don't know. And then people were trying to argue as well in the comments that the Cowboys actually got better and that these other teams haven't gotten better. And it's just like, I don't know what to say to that, honestly, because if you can't see that the Cowboys are trending in the wrong direction and it's just been nothing but noise and nonsense, I really don't know what to say. I really don't, because it's just, you just look at all these other teams quietly taking care of business, extending players, acquiring players, having a good draft, taking care of their coaches, their players, saying all the right things at the mic to the media, improving, didn't comically come short in the playoffs last season, and yet they still continue to do better, get better. Like, it's just the Cowboys just always overpromise and underperform, and I'm just seeing no reason why that should be different and this season. And again, please tell me then why Justin Jefferson can get signed, A.J. Brown can get signed, Jared Goff can get signed. Like, all these guys get taken care of. And then you have the Dallas Cowboys that can't really do anything. Their big thing was getting Ezekiel Elliott, right? Like, they didn't even reach out to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was like, I wanted to go to Dallas. They didn't even reach out to him. If you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, who would you rather have? Derrick Henry or Ezekiel Elliott? I mean, come on. What are we talking about here? But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. Do you guys think, are you buying that Dallas is actually genuinely committed to Dak Prescott? Or do you at this point have no idea what's going on because you literally keep hearing the opposite? You keep hearing left, right, which is it? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.